Nope. No way.
Welcome back to IHYL. I'm so excited.
Oh
my gosh.
My goodness.
We have a doozy of a story for you guys.
Oh my gosh. It's like
Full
true
of
roller
challenges.
coaster. There are so many ups and not like downs, but like corkscrews. There are corkscrews in this story.
Up the waz. So
get the wine ready.
Like you're gonna
Girl.
really this is another great ride.
Seriously.
I really enjoyed this one, and meeting Maddy was amazing.
Yes.
Maddy's podcast. That's where you chime in with the name.
Just like a verbal note. Add Maddy's podcast. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Maddy is the host of another Minnesota podcast called Minnesota Trans Atheist.
I feel like that's a spoiler alert.
Well, kind of, but there's no way around that.
There's no way around that.
That is the title of her show, and it's fabulous.
It is really great.
I really, really enjoy her show. She often has other guests on who, have some sort of knowledge on usually trans or, broadly LGBTQIA topics, a little bit of everything. And it's great. And I really love Maddy. She's a wonderful human. And she came and told us her story, and it was great.
We really loved her story, and we hope you do too. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to I Hate Your Love.
Yay.
I'm Mary.
I'm still Hailey.
And today we have Maddy with us. Welcome, Maddy.
Hi. As we make eye contact across the table.
Dun, dun, dun. We're both looking at you. Say something.
Hello.
Hello. Yay. So we're really excited to bring you another great love story. And today we're going to be talking to Maddy. And so, Maddy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. And your podcast.
Yeah. You're a fellow podcaster.
I'm here.
You are.
Welcome.
You
made it to Savage.
Yay.
So I'm like 40-something trans woman here in Minnesota, obviously.
Yeah.
The podcast is A Minnesota Trans Atheist. When I started the podcast, I named it that because I thought I was the only one. Oops, not true.
You're the only one with a podcast called that, though.
Yes. But I have many trans atheist podcaster friends in Minnesota,
wow.
like blocks away from me. So, yeah.
Whoa, I bet that was eye-opening.
No,
You're not as unique as you thought.
it's amazing. So it was like when you self-label yourself and define yourself, like, oh, there's nobody else like me, and you're like, no,
actually,
I'm unique, just like everybody else.
Actually, there's 7 billion people in the world, so
if you're 1 in a million, there are 700 people just like you.
Ouch!
Yikes!
I'm sorry, world.
You're not as cool as you thought either, listener. So Minnesota Trans Atheist, that's what it's called.
Yeah. That's my personal podcast, and I'm on many Sunday mornings on AM 950, KTNF, and we do a show called Atheist Talk, and that's through Minnesota Atheists.
Cool.
Neato. I'm also an atheist.
Yay!
Man, I was going to make her guess.
Oh, darn.
You just ruined it.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
I know.
Wouldn't you have guessed if we were like one of us as an atheist? Wouldn't you have guessed her?
No, because I've actually, when it first came out, I was like, oh my god, atheist. And I was like, I really don't care anymore. I mean, unless you're like a bigot or something.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
If you're a really crappy person, we don't like you.
Well, yeah, and I run into so many bigots in the atheist community now, too.
Oh, really?
And it's like, oh my god.
Oh my god, one would have thought that Christianity was the only way to infect people with bigotry.
Exactly.
Yeah, just a joke, though. Because there are many ways to catch bigotry. Okay, so aside from the podcast and the atheism, tell us something else about you.
No?
No
question.
You don't like talking about yourself? Is that what you said?
No. It's so hard because, like, I think about all these things that other people might go, oh, wow, I would have had no idea. But to me, it's like, well, yeah, life, like normal.
Awesome.
I work full time. I'm a lab tech. I play with poop. I play with sputum.
Whoa.
Sounds
okay.
And then I say thank you when I'm done.
For those of you that didn't catch it during episode 1, Extra Guac with Kate, when she referenced Meeting Wednesday, Wednesday is my dog,
She's
And-
great.
Yeah, she's great.
She's adorable.
She's adorable. She's friendly. She's funny. She has her own Instagram at a dog named Wednesday.
We'll tweet a picture.
Yeah, she's really cute, and I love her. But she needs to be near me all the time. So
She does.
she's a barking a little bit in this episode, and we're sorry about it.
That's all.
Sorry. So, tell me about your 2 truths and a lie. We'll start with those, and you can.
So
Yeah,
you want
we-
me to let me tell you them?
Yeah, we
okay.
need the 2 truths and a lie, and then at the end we have to try and guess.
Mhm.
All right, so 2 truths and a lie. I thought I'd give you 2 fantastic hobbies and my favorite job.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cool.
So, one of my favorite hobbies is to crochet. My favorite crochet piece is I've got a bedspread that is the entire size of my bed. It's like arm to arm. It's made out of the Crayola color variegated. So it's like just gorgeous.
Ooh.
I sleep with that every night.
Pretty.
I've got another one that's made out, it has the exact same number of skeins,
Mhm.
but it's like half the size. It's so heavy. It's a basket weave crochet. Oh my god.
Mary's
it's
losing
fantastic.
her mind. She's basically drooling.
I'm gonna make you see my blankets when we're done before you go home. I have to show you my collection, okay?
One of my other favorite hobbies is origami.
Okay.
So I will fold cranes and fold T-Rexes, fold frogs. I've made these beautiful flower bouquets for like my tax advisor when she helped me out in a
Aw.
difficult situation.
Oh.
My lab supervisor just left. I made her a nice little bouquet with little froggies in it. It's beautiful. I can show you pictures.
I want to see it.
And let's see. Oh, and my favorite part of that, like a few years ago, we helped make cranes for a museum.
Yeah.
And it was the one crane for every person who's in a Japanese internment camp. So we made 126,672
Wow.
cranes.
Holy Hannah.
Yeah. So
Not
we
you
got-
personally, like the group.
No, the
did.
group as a whole. So
Okay.
Still.
That's a
I
lot.
only made like 2,000 to 3,000.
That's a
What-
lot.
Only.
Exactly.
Yeah. Piece of cake.
Oh,
My
That's a
favorite
lunch.
job that I've ever had, since this is a love kind of podcast,
Mhm.
Yeah.
is in the past I have physically removed hearts from people.
What?
Now, most people, you'd think you would use some fancy medical equipment. If you use hedge clippers work great to crush the
We're in
ribs
danger.
after
We're in
you've
danger.
Hedge clippers are great to crush ribs.
Well, you cut the ribs out and then remove the breastplate after you've done your Y incision. And then when you're done with that and take out the heart and lungs and everything else, you also take out the skull cap. And so I've actually pulled out brains out of people.
All right, well. So,
So you're like a mortician's assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the actual title for that job is prosector.
Fancy.
Which is that, that's
Like
what you call a human
you're
dissector.
pro-bisector.
Okay. I went to beauty school. I wanted to do makeup and hair on dead people.
See?
But it's really hard to get that job. So
Okay,
Okay.
so origami as a hobby,
Mhm.
crochet as a hobby,
And
your
you ripped
favorite
hearts out of
job was
people.
ripping hearts out of people. Okay.
all right.
I have a hunch already, but I'm not entirely sure. So
Oh boy.
we're going to find out more about you. And then
I
hope
want the
that-
hearts thing to be real.
I just
really
want that
do.
to be not real, to be honest. Because
Oh,
otherwise
so
you
my
know how to
heart.
remove my organs and you're in my bedroom. It's not great.
Well, in some communities that's considered like a positive.
Not in this community, friend.
What kink is that?
We are open-minded, but not that open-minded.
I
Not
generally put org on everyone.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Too far.
Okay.
We're going too far.
We're gonna get back to
Let's get into the love story. Let's
Because
hear
I
about
loved
you
this story.
and Beeb.
So how did you guys meet?
She was my manager at McDonald's. I was a titch younger. She was a titch older. I chased her.
Oh.
Bold.
Yeah, I started out with apparently what turned out to be sexual harassment in hindsight.
Oi.
Putting ice on the back of her shirt.
Oh.
Wait,
that's
that's harassment?
Well, I mean,
that just seems
maybe
like
maybe it's
a
not
joke
because
you
I
do.
was like not the manager. If she was the manager,
Oh.
then it probably would have been.
Oh yes,
Okay,
that's
sure.
definitely space invasive.
Yes.
And
Yeah, like I didn't ask her. It was a prank, and at the time, I just thought she was hot.
sure,
So-
you just wanted to ice her down for your. Yeah, she's so hot.
No, I was like the whole immature, like you're gonna pull the pigtails on a cute
Yes.
person.
Oh, boy.
Because you're
Cute.
emotionally, immature and can't actually just talk.
Be like, hey, I like you. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw
So I
an
don't
ice cube down
endorse
there.
any of this, but that is.
But it
that's-
did work
that's how
for
it
you.
happened. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself. At this point, we don't know if it worked for you or not.
I mean, we can assume at least for
A little bit.
period of time it worked.
So aside from her reception to your ice prank, what made you put that ice down that shirt?
Oh, she was hot.
Yeah, that's
Well,
it.
let me rephrase that. She is hot. But she was hot then, too.
Like, soup's hot.
Soup's hot. So you're just trying to cool her down, get her ire up so that she'd go out with you, maybe? Or
that was the plan, and then we just became friends.
Oh, no.
And, no, that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
We're both like friend zone.
Zone. Yikes.
I'm cool with friend zone because I would rather be friends and fall in love than the other way around and fall in love for a bit and have all this passion but don't really like them.
Right? Or even know them.
Exactly.
That's true. So struck up a friendship. So how did you go from friends to lovers?
Well, we went. She kept taking me out more and more places. We did concerts. She bought me cigarettes.
Oh my goodness!
She bought me beer because I wasn't legal to buy beer.
And she was.
She's a couple years older than I am.
A couple is two, friend.
At minimum, that's 4 years.
She is 6 times a couple years older than I am.
There, so quite significant age difference, really. Some people would say it. Anyway.
And we just hung out, and it just turned in, and randomly one day after going to the Rocky Horror Picture Show for the first time, kissed her.
Wait, okay, back up.
No, it was a.
She says, "Back up, stop! Don't tell us your story."
Sorry.
How dare you? No, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Okay, so is that your first date?
Well, no, because we went with other people.
You were just there in a group, like a group hang.
There was there's somebody else that worked at McDonald's with us that was actually flirting with her, and then we also went with her boyfriend at the time.
Wait.
Okay, still so fun.
Wait. So she had a boyfriend, or the girl who was flirting with her?
Oh, no.
No.
She had...
Beeb had a boyfriend.
Yes.
That was with you on this.
Who was living with her.
You were... Wait! Whoa! Wait! You homewrecker!
Anne was the dad of one of her kids.
Whoa! You got some chutzpah.
Excuse me, ma'am. You put none of this on your interview.
We usually have this.
We're shook.
Okay, I just have to point out that we asked the question, what has been the biggest hurdle that you and B have had to overcome? And you put nothing.
Oh. Well, because to be fair, I have to back up. She was still with him.
Right.
And she's given, I've talked about this on my show, so I have permission
to
talk about it. But she had gotten out of an abusive relationship, really bad.
Okay.
He didn't do drugs, he didn't drink, he didn't swear, he lived with his mom, and he was safe. So he was her rebound. They had sex once.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Okay.
By both parties' accounts.
Just the uno.
Yeah, and you know, they had a kid together, they stayed together, and he's a great guy. He really is. He's just... Like, not... I really hope he never listens to this. He's worked at the same line cook job for 30 years, and she was looking for somebody with more...
future potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But
so not that isn't it...
Their relationship was over before I had ever walked in.
Gotcha.
Okay, but she was...
But they were dating.
But they were dating when you kissed her at the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Okay.
So she was also dating me, too.
Oh, okay.
Sort of, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Just we hadn't actually called it that.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like a polyamory situation, but sort of, but not
because
not labeled that way.
She's very not against, but she's very, monogamous.
Sure.
Okay.
And so, that wouldn't have worked for her.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
sounds more like it was just I had a baby with this dude, so like I'm with him, but like guy. Not really though. It happens. All right.
It does.
I mean, we've all had, babies with people we didn't intend to, haven't we?
No comment. But here's the part where I get a little skeptical. Because she's all, well, she wasn't really with him.
Wasn't really.
And she's really into monogamy. So... that wouldn't work for her, except that's exactly what was happening.
I don't know, bro. I think people can define their relationships however they want.
They can.
And this is just...
it's a real triangle. Plus a couple other, weird angles pulling it in different directions. It's kind of like
it's like a star.
Yeah. I'm curious, though. I mean... The chutzpah to kiss a girl that you know is someone else's girl and has a baby with someone else, and you just are so overwhelmed that that's some chutzpah right there.
They real like each other.
Real like.
I
wonder how baby daddy feels about this, though.
Well,
I imagine not as enthusiastic.
I mean, probably not, but, like, who cares about him anyway, though?
That's true. He ain't beat. So, you kiss at the Rocky Horror Picture Show while she's literally dating someone else. What was her reaction?
Well, we actually kissed after she was dropping me off, because, of course, I'm a kid.
Yeah.
Sure.
Of course, you're a baby.
She drops me off at my apartment, my mom's apartment that I'm sleeping.
It's like you're a kid with an apartment? No.
Let's be as
It's
honest
mom.
as possible.
Okay.
And I go upstairs and go to bed, fall asleep.
But
That
so
was it. Then she went home.
So she
Okay.
didn't say, like, what are you thinking? Why did you do that? Or like,
That was the next day.
oh, okay. So describe that then.
And so she called me, and of course I looked on my not caller ID and not anything else, because this is 1994.
Okay. None of that was the thing that was happening.
You just
was there
have to
even
answer
star
or
69
not answer.
at that point? I mean,
there were caller ID phones, but
But
the
you
phone
didn't.
in my bedroom was like the old cradle, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so you answered your
Wow.
rotary dial, hang up phone.
after the operator connected,
Yeah.
Willie Tomlin patched us through.
Oh, right. And you were connected, and she said,
And she was like, "What was that?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I don't know.
Because I had to start thinking back, like, oh god, is this really, like, okay, I really like this girl, but
Mhm,
she's got kids. Do I really want to move this forward?
Sure.
And, but, that all came out with, I don't know.
I don't know. What?
Feelings, emotions,
Yeah.
thoughts.
Okay.
Cool.
And she said, what do you mean you don't know?
Basically, yeah. Turns out, like, her sister had been encouraging her to date me.
Oh.
So you have this phone conversation. And I'm assuming that you had to go back to work.
Yeah, so where does it go from there?
It just slowly snowballed into more dates, and, we said, hey, let's keep hanging out together, and let's move slowly. And so, I think less than 30 days later, my youngest was conceived.
Oh, good. Moving slowly, getting pregnant within the month.
Super slow.
That's my kind of slow movement. All right.
I love this story so much.
This is just
I'm
really,
so invested.
I know. I'm like, what's going to happen now?
I'm supposed to hate love, and I still do. Let's be clear. It's gross, but I'm invested in the story.
All right. So you're taking it slow, knocking a girl up. And what do you feel about in that moment? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
At the moment, it was like, oh, this condom is terrible. Let's get rid of it.
Not that moment.
Well,
Really, Mary? What moment were you going for then?
The moment
You
she
obviously need to
found
be clear.
out her new girlfriend with whom she was taking it slow was pregnant with a child. That was the moment I was referring to. Because I would think, oh shit, would be the thing.
Well, we didn't know she was pregnant for about 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Because she actually kept having regular periods.
That does happen.
Oh,
yeah, I've heard about that.
And at the time, she was on birth control.
Which
Oh, for Pete's sake.
a reasonable person would think would do the one thing it's made to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And for any listeners who may think, well, maybe she wasn't taking it. No. Because it's apparently a genetic thing, because 2 of our kids have had the same thing happen to them.
Wow.
So yikes.
It's we've talked to docs. It's like, some people, it just
you don't
doesn't
respond
have
as
the
well
same-
to the hormones.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Still ovulating. Body's
Be
not
careful,
listening.
people.
And I should
Be
also
careful.
point out that was my first time having sex.
Oh,
Well,
my
that was my
goodness.
first time having sex with another person.
Oh, well, yes.
Sure.
You had much of the sex with your hands, I'm sure. But,
Pillows.
yeah. Bananas, apple pies.
It's fine.
Okay. All right. So, man, you're really potent is what you're telling me.
No, she is. All credit to her.
Credit where credit's due. That girl got preggers on the pill.
I was poking fun. She took it serious.
Okay. Sometimes when I think things are really, really funny, I start to go a little off track with my laugh, I've noticed. I did think that was really funny, though.
It was really funny.
Having had that also happen to me, I find it just,
Yeah.
you can't help but that's why I laugh so hard.
The pill is only like, what is it, 98 point something or something % effective?
And I just loved how she is just like, oh no. All credit is due.
All credit to Beeb.
To the power uterus of Beeb.
The power uterus.
Bow down. And it's true.
Oh, dear.
She clearly had one because bada bing, bada boom. One time. It happens, people, a lot. This is a PSA.
So true.
That happens.
So true.
It happens. So please, guys.
Get the pill, wrap it up, don't even have sex. You're gonna get pregnant.
Stop it. Stop it. Abstinence training doesn't work, Hailey.
Okay, fine.
Just be careful.
Pill, wrap it up. Female condom as well. Get everything.
Some spermicide up
Wait,
in there.
can you use a male condom and a female condom at the same time? I feel like that's the same thing as trying to use two male condoms at the same time, and it's just like
I think
friction and everything breaks. Don't do that.
Female condoms are more for oral stuff, I think.
What?
Yeah, to keep you from...
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm not claiming to be an expert, but I feel like we could ask Dan Savage this question.
Ooh, sure. If you have questions about condoms, like, just listen to Dan Savage, not us. We don't know anything.
Point being, the first time, though.
Yeah.
The first damn time.
You know?
Wow.
I feel like that happens to a lot of people.
I feel like better sex education would resolve that problem. But
I Hate Your Love is pro better sex education.
We are. And
Officially.
abstinence only doesn't work.
So true.
They're going to have the sex. They might as well know how to do the safe sex. Which, in Maddie's case, they did, though, so that's not even relevant.
Yeah.
Dang.
Whoops.
Dang. Wow.
But then they had a baby. Babies are great.
Babies are so great. I wonder.
Reference my feelings about babies and kids in Cat Lady's episode. They like dinosaurs. Okay.
So I don't even know what question to ask. I'm like, I want to know more, but I'm like scared to ask. Okay.
I just want to point out that none of this is on here.
This questionnaire is
all of this is a lie.
It's not asking the right questions. That's what I'm getting.
Apparently.
I don't feel
Please tell us about the time that you
No.
unexpectedly impregnated your babe.
Well, you didn't lie. That's not what she's saying at all. I believe.
They try to be honest.
No, I believe that you were honest. It's just
I'm sure that I said lie, but I didn't actually mean it's a
No.
lie. It's just holy Hannah.
Okay.
So let's just kind of like skip ahead, because I'm sure that there are people that are listening that are wondering this is probably going to be the biggest question. When you started dating, you hadn't transitioned yet.
That
I
is
assume.
correct. I
Okay.
didn't transition until about 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Okay, so it's
So
like
you were together
2014-ish.
you were together for like a decade.
More than.
2 decades. Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
decades. Yeah. Oh my God. 1994 was 20
Yeah.
years ago.
We've been married 22 years.
Okay.
And I started transitioning. We're about 18 years or so in marriage.
Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, after a while, some of the dates start getting fuzzy. Like, I have to,
Sure,
look
you've been
back
together
at
You don't
long
remember
time.
the exact
where
day.
was I living? Who's the president? Like things like that. How old was my son?
Okay.
So how did that all go? Like, I know that's a big question, but
Well, and because normally you shouldn't out other trans people,
right.
but this other trans person said he's had been on my show before.
Okay.
We talked about it. So my son wasn't born my son.
Oh.
And he actually broke the ice. Like, he came out before I did. And so she was able to, my wife was able to start to change her religion. Because prior to that, trans people were going to hell.
Right.
Ouch.
Right.
Okay.
So she's changed her religion. Now she's a universalist, I think. Now she doesn't believe in hell. And that's how she's got around that. And she no longer thinks it's a sin.
Okay.
So he did all the hard work.
Right. He really paved the way for you.
Right. And then, so he was going through some stuff, and, we were laying, my wife and I were laying in bed one night chatting, and she could tell I was really distant, because I had started to distance myself. I put some stuff in a storage locker that I needed in case when I came out, she said, get
Didn't
out.
go.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I was protecting myself, and I was distancing myself emotionally so I could be ready for when she was like, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came out to her, and that was a rough week. That was a really rough week.
Mm-hmm.
We'd actually talked, it was going to be, we said, we can do this amicably with the divorce. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to fight you for anything.
Right.
Our youngest is 15, so custody wouldn't have been an
Sure.
Yeah.
issue anyway. I don't need a lot to live. Like, I'm happy in a tiny little apartment, like with a bed and a TV.
Yeah.
But we decided we were going to go forward with it anyway. Because,
Wow.
we do love each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and sex isn't really a big part of our marriage, but there's still, you can be very intimate, even
Absolutely.
regardless of how
Mhm.
genitals work together.
Mhm. That's very true. That's very true. So how long had you known that you were, before you came
Since I was
out?
about 5.
Okay.
Maybe younger. The harder thing with like trans people my age
Mhm.
is you go a whole part of your life without even knowing there's a word.
Right.
Sure.
Knowing that
1994. You couldn't even be gay in 1994.
No, but yeah, I've known since I was 4. My earliest memory is actually knowing that I was trans. It's like standing in front of a bathroom mirror, stealing my sister's clothes so I look right, and
Oh.
tucking. I didn't even know it. I thought I was the only person in the world.
That felt that
Sure.
way.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
yeah, because
totally.
nobody talked about it back then. For sure.
So I had my earliest role model was actually Norm Bates in Psycho.
Oh.
Because there was no, and if you ever talk to trans people, like there's talks about, representation matters.
Mhm.
You need to see people like yourself in the media. And the only person I saw that would ever wear the opposite sex clothing was Norman Bates. And so, and so they used the word transvestite. So I was like, I'm a transvestite. Like, that's just what I thought.
Yeah.
Man.
And I remember as a teenager seeing Rocky Horror Picture Show, okay, well that's what I am. Because I don't have a word for it. I don't know
Sure.
that there's other people. And then the internet comes along. It's like, holy shit, there's lots of people just like me. Like,
Can you imagine that?
We've gone full circle here, folks. 7 billion people in the world.
exactly. So, yeah.
Wow.
Wowzers. This is a roller coaster of a
It
story.
is. What? Okay.
Like,
So
you guys could write a book.
She was upset for a week, like you said, like it was a bad
Well,
week, like, but
yeah,
I mean,
she was upset for longer, but that was the rough part
Mhm.
where she was trying to decide, what do you want to, like, what does she want to do
right.
Yeah.
with it? Because, I totally get it. That's not what she signed up for.
Mhm.
She signed up to be married to a guy.
Mhm.
She didn't know she was married to a girl. Like,
Mhm.
I get that. That's totally, so she had to decide whether or not she wanted to go through that. And she decided that, hey, I love you enough. I love our family. I don't want to not ruin this. I don't want to change this.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
And so we went and made it work.
I think it's interesting that she says her wife didn't want to change their family, and so they tried to make it work. But their family was changed.
Like, hugely changed.
very changed.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting, and probably it was just the phrasing and not something that she thought about consciously.
Right, and you're just going way too deep on it.
Maybe, but things were really going to change.
Yeah.
They have to change.
I mean, but really at the end of the day, like, she's still the same person.
True.
So, really, does it actually change that much? Not having a transgender person in either of our families.
Yeah.
We can't say for sure how much somebody beginning their transition would affect, like, the family. But as far as I understand, as far as I'm able to understand as a cisgender person, you're still very much the same person. So I feel like it wouldn't really change that much. You're getting used to using new pronouns with your family member. You're getting used to their new physical presentation. But I feel like, you still know this person. You can still connect to this person. You still have memories and inside jokes and things with this person.
Yeah, but all of those things are fundamentally changed. This is one of those before and after events in life for anybody that goes through this transition. And so it gives your family's whole, spectrum a point of reference.
True.
Before and after.
True.
And I just wonder, again, not knowing, but just thinking about how I would feel about something like that as an outsider or as not a person who is transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
You would almost have to think of those before and after as different people because they are.
I guess I can imagine, like, some before and after events in my life where, you know, I look back and I'm like, sometimes to place memories, I think I have to think like, oh yeah, no, that was pre this happening, or no, that was right after this happening. So I mean, it's definitely, it's gonna mark that place in time for them. For sure.
And I think too, your memories of that person are very different from when they presented in one gender versus another. And if they were really still exactly the same person, then why would they transition at all? I think part of it is being able to become your true self and become who you really are. And so that implies change.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
That's the thing. And
that's what made this so interesting to be able to talk to Maddy about their family and how it affected them. Because I just had no idea what it could have been like. And it was fascinating. And I so appreciated that she shared her story with us.
Seriously.
And it's not even over.
It's not. We still have more story left. There's still more roller coaster.
Here we go. One more.
Okay, so within this, like you said, when your son came out, she had already kind of experienced like a religious transition to accept this. So she's got a religious transition going on, like soul-wise. And then she's also transitioning herself from a straight relationship into a queer relationship.
Yeah.
So that's huge.
That's a lot to do.
When I finally came out at work, one of her friends said something about, hey, you're in a lesbian marriage now. As like as a joke. It was in good nature.
Yeah.
She still has a hard time accepting that.
Right. Like she doesn't necessarily identify.
Right.
Or she didn't.
So she's having a hard, like, emotionally, our marriage is in a really good place.
Yeah.
But, like, she's having to, like, she's like, I'm a straight woman. It's like, well, that's fine. I'm not, and you're in a relationship with me, but you identify however you want to identify. Like,
that's the key, I think. People identify however you want to identify.
Yeah, I don't, it's like, if you want to think of yourself as, I mean, it does hurt a little bit, because it's like, so I sort of means that you're not thinking of me as a woman. Yeah. But, you know what, like, she's still here.
Yeah.
True.
So, like,
it would be different if it was someone that you met, like, for a new relationship, maybe, than what your wife is going.
Because then it's like, no, you're meeting me for the first time.
Yeah.
You can't accept me. You can accept me.
Right.
That's on you. Bye.
Yeah. I know who I am. Yeah.
Right.
But when it's someone like your wife that had gone through all of this with you, I can see how you would have to be more understanding and more forgiving of.
I feel like I don't have to be.
Sure.
But I want to. Because the relationship means, it's important.
Right. Like if you want the relationship to work, then you would have to be understanding.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about, just because religion is a big part of relationships as a whole. I mean, it's 2018 and like obviously there's a lot of like interfaith relationships now.
Yeah.
But your guys is I guess I would say a little more extreme, and Mary and I laughed about it because I used to be a Wiccan.
Okay.
Like a year and a half ago. And Mary is a satanic atheist.
Yes.
So
like
when
the Satanic Temple?
No.
She doesn't go to the temple.
I don't go to temple. I don't.
Well, we don't have a temple. So.
Interesting.
No, they don't. I did that. They did at one point. I've never gone with any of the organizations, but I identify with like the ideology.
Yeah.
And I read the Satanic Bible, and some of it's real wonk ass crazy stuff.
Oh yeah, that's the church.
Yeah. But I subscribe to a lot of the general ideas. Look at you.
Yes, Maddy is a card-carrying
member
Satanic
of the Satanic
Atheist.
Temple.
I actually just recently converted. I didn't change a single worldview.
Yeah.
That was kind of how it was for me too.
Yeah.
Was like, Hailey even said to me, like, you're a Satanist, right?
At the time, I was still a Wiccan, and I had actually spent some time studying Satanism. And Mary and I, because I had always been a believer of some sorts, and she had not, were discussing it, and I was like, you're a Satanist. Like, that's what you are. You don't know it, but you are.
Well, because I think I was talking about my belief, system or lack thereof, or what I believed about how the world works and things. And she's like, that's actually a thing called Satanism. You are not making that up. And I was like, well, but that's just how I feel. But then as I looked into it more, I realized like I do identify a lot with the, guiding principles and things. So we have a similar disparity in that. And when she became a Christian, It hurt so bad.
Mary had a really hard time.
I did have a hard time accepting it because I identified our relationship as with being, non-traditional religious beliefs, and then you went real traditional on me.
You go cross.
I was sad. So was this religious? Did your religious views change before you came out, or did you always have this difference in religious beliefs?
Thank you. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
When we first met, I grew up in ENC Christian, Eastern Christmas, and within a couple of years of marriage, I became a fundamentalist. Gays are going to hell. Bible thump everything, and then slowly, I knew what I was inside. And Jesus was supposed to change my heart. Yeah. Jesus was, you let Jesus in your heart, you become a new creation. So I kept waiting for that new creation. It's like, okay, but I thought I did this right. I thought I love you, Jesus. Why is that guy still hot? Why do I still go through this binge purge thing where I buy all these women's clothes, get rid of all these women's clothes, buy all these women's why am I going through all this stuff? And that really started making me question.
Sure.
And then I started questioning in other ways too, is some of the science stuff that my pastor was telling me turned out to be not accurate.
Religion doesn't have accurate science.
Well,
no way.
Our church was very homophobic, bigoted.
Good grief.
I look in hindsight, looking back, I don't remember if the Westboro Baptist Church was around at the time,
but it was in line with their.
I would have been, yeah. I mean, except for the picketing funerals of soldiers, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt. I felt they're following the Bible just fine.
So you were.
I actually still did.
Oh man!
Sorry. I have an atheist podcast.
You do, yeah.
And I've had more Christian and spiritual people on the show because now I'm to the point in my life where I care more about how you're treating other humans than whether or not you believe in any kind of deity. It's completely irrelevant to me as long as you're treating other people well.
Exactly.
And it's a very personal thing too. You can't.
If somebody wants to read the Bible and interpret it I'm supposed to love everybody and be accepting of everybody, why am I going to stop you? No, I don't want you to be
those are the words that I've read.
It doesn't matter why you're being a good person if you are being a good person.
Right. So as long as we're not, and that's how my wife is. She's very much it just matters how you're acting. It's okay. So we can have religious conversations because we're also walking away with, we both still love each other. We both know it matters more how you're treating each other, or we can have deep philosophical religious stuff because we're also not trying to convert each other.
Right.
Sure.
She's not trying to get me to go to church.
Well,
I'm not trying to get her to stop believing in Jesus.
Right.
It's fine.
Man, wow. Your story is just you guys have overcome so much.
She did have a hard time when I joined the Satanic Temple.
Would you say it was harder for her or when you came out as trans? Which one was more difficult?
This one I think was easier. She had a harder time she had almost as hard a time with the atheist when I converted. When I stopped believing. When I told her that, hey, I'm an atheist. Because her first thought was, well, does that mean all of our marriage vows don't mean anything anymore? Because we made them to God. And I was no, I don't believe that God made that promise.
Yeah.
But I still promised you, I still made these vows to you. These still have merit.
Yeah.
It's well, then at the same time, before it was if you don't want to be together anymore, then I was a bit more really?
Over this?
What is this actually?
Yeah. Wow. Man. So that was round one, life-changing revelation.
That was about 10 years before I publicly identified as transgender.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to let you lead this one because I am an atheist.
You are.
So I don't see how she could have reacted that way. That I feel like her reaction is ridiculous, but that's just me because I'm an atheist.
I, as a Christian, cannot speak for all Christians, which is the kind of complicated thing here because, while we all have one core belief in Jesus, we have so many different denominations that all believe slightly different things, and some of them are kind of wacko, in my opinion.
Some of them.
Well, okay.
Sorry, I just had to point out I'm an atheist.
I'm sorry. What are you again, Mary? What do you believe in?
I'm an atheist. I believe in nothing.
Okay, great.
We're gonna die and then get buried, and then Well, in my case, I'm going to be burned and my ashes will be spread because I don't want my body eaten by worms. But
great, we have that on recording now. So
yeah, thank you.
For the future. But I mean, even, the church that I go to might differ a little slightly from my own personal opinions on LGBTQIA plus matters. Where, as my opinion might be a little bit biased just because I'm part of that community.
Might have something to do with your support.
But having done a lot of research on, there are 6 verses in the Bible that reference homosexuality. There are maybe a handful that don't reference being transgender, but do reference like wearing the opposite gender's clothing and hairstyles and things like that. But if you dig into them, you dig into the history, there's reasons why I personally don't believe this is a sin. So I don't really understand her initial opinion either, because to me it's not a sin. And if I had a partner or a child or a friend or anybody come to me and say, hey, I'm a Christian and I'm also transgender, or I'm also bisexual, or I'm also gay, or whatever, I would think no differently of them, and I would not worry at all for them spiritually.
But if someone came to you and said, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in this anymore,
then I worry for you spiritually. Yeah.
I see. So the reason that this could be such a bigger problem is because it's up for debate if you're going to go to hell if you're any part of your community. It is not really up for debate if you're going to go to hell if you're an atheist.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I think, again, I can't speak for all Christians, but I'm fairly confident that we do all believe that if you do not believe that Jesus is the Messiah and the Son of God, then you do not get to go to heaven.
And it does
awkward.
Yeah, a little. But since I don't believe either of those places exist, I'm fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
So see, it's all just inky. Religion is just a kind of a crazy thing. And not to say believing is crazy, because I obviously don't believe that, but just religion as a whole is just inky and madness.
I agree.
Look, we agree.
It's all kind of nutty.
Because I can see validity in not believing in any of those places or any of those things too. I can't understand it just as somebody who's always been a believer in something, but I can intellectually understand, I guess, how somebody would believe that those things don't exist. Does this make sense?
Well, I intellectually can understand that other people believe that those things are real, and maybe, as far as I know, it makes it real for them. That could be how it works.
That's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, I don't know. There are so many different religions.
So many.
One is probably not the only answer,
Back to Maddy and Beeb.
Right.
I can understand how this was a big thing in their relationship.
Mm-hmm. Especially because they have kids together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you've formed this relationship together, having the same or at least very similar religious beliefs, and then there's a part of your relationship that's foundational in that belief.
Sure. And then one of you's hey, not just I want to go next door.
Right.
They're I want to go to the next county. And
I'm
going to go as far away
to Canada
from you as possible on the spectrum.
Ooh.
That's a rough one.
It is rough.
That is a hurdle that they overcame.
They did. They've overcome a lot of stuff.
Their love's amazing.
It really is.
It's really strong and so powerful and compelling. It gives me hope.
Ew.
I love their love. There, I said it.
Wow. Off-brand.
Not really.
But yeah, though. So.
It's amazing.
Go Maddy and Beeb.
Thank you, Maddy. Thank you, Beeb. You restored my faith.
In what?
Love, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah, nope, sorry. Not today. Today is not the day that I praise your Jesus. Still praising cheese over here. Seriously, though, praise cheese. Cheese is life.
Okay, we
All
gotta
right.
stop.
Okay. So now the facade, we hope, comes crashing down.
Yes. As I said, we hate love.
We hate it. We
Hate
don't
it.
like it. All of this tolerance and acceptance is just making me gag. So let's get to it. Surely you're divorced. You couldn't overcome your issues.
Of course. As of today,
When I
I mean-
filled out the interview, I was happily friggin' married.
we're
But
still like, we've been married 22 years. There's days where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that we're still together. And I drive her nuts, I'm sure.
As I'm sure she does to you sometimes.
Well, I'm a huge, SJW, social justice warrior.
Yeah.
And so we're we're at our show choir event today, and I'm posting something about everybody, all the alt or allo cis het crap and stuff, and she's like, can't you just enjoy it? I'm trying. Okay, but look, every single person in pink is a girl, and every single person in blue is a boy, and those are the only two people talking or touching each other. It's like,
Yep.
and yet, I'm sure there's nobody in show choir right now that's gay. Absolutely
Impossible, yeah. Show choirs where the most masculine go.
not. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to get to your two truths and a lie. Again, so can you remind everyone what they were?
she's
Really?
like, I'm never coming back.
God, you are
You're
so
awful.
my person, Maddy.
Just go back and cut and paste, control. Say no. I use Adobe Audition. It's really easy to cut and paste.
Uh-huh. Can you just tell us? Because we
Yeah.
have audacity.
All right, so one of my favorite hobbies is crocheting.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this gorgeous, gigantic breadspread that I can describe for you in detail again if you would like.
That's okay. We heard you the first time, and I love those things. If this is a lie, I am going to unfriend forever. Okay, I'm
Wow.
just kidding. I really love that
Bold.
story.
Okay.
The cranes.
Right.
The origami.
No.
Right.
And the last one was snipping the optic nerves as you pull brain out of the brain case. And then
That
using
terrible, horrible job. I really hope that that's the lie. So
I really want that one to
And
be true.
sliding the needle into the eyeball to pull the truth fluid out. That is
you know what? I think
creepy.
it's the cranes because she just went into extreme detail on the crochet and on the removal of eyes, whereas the cranes, she's like, and the cranes. Remember the cranes?
Okay.
I mean,
But
I really hope that it's the job thing, but I feel like it's not because there's just so much graphic detail. But you could just watch a lot of CSI. So, do you like CSI?
She works in the medical field.
Well, that's why you're a lab tech now and you play with poop and blood.
Although I should point out that a lot of
It's
I could
different.
not go work in an coroner's office.
Okay.
What did you do?
I think it's the origami.
You think? It's like I really want it
I
to
really
be
want it to be the origami.
Okay, and what's on the line again here? We're gonna
Post on
post on each other's podcast Facebook.
Facebook.
Whoever loses.
basically talking about how our podcast is the best. Okay. I don't know. Origami. That's
All right, we'll go with what you want to go with.
No!
Dear.
Okay, origami. Origami's the lie.
Final answer.
I have no idea how to crochet. I take it back. I have chained a thing together and I tried to make a towel holder. It just hurts my hands so bad.
Is the blanket real?
The blanket's real. My wife, on the other hand, crochets there's no tomorrow. She's made these beautiful blankets where she's crocheted strips and then weaved the strips together.
Ooh.
It's
I'm still going to show
beautiful.
you my blanket collection.
And I do sleep with 3 Afghans that she made.
Okay.
They're
Okay. So we were wrong. So you
They're
get to
so
take-
sad.
And I have quilted.
Okay.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. And also that job is real. Ah.
Well, actually, I
Yes.
can't do that job anymore because I worked in a local coroner's office,
Mm.
and now that coroner's office is part of HCMC,
Oh.
and I don't have the right. I work night shifts. I was friends with the head lead investigator / coroner, and
You kind of got
I
it.
helped her. I'd help remove bodies in the middle of the night because the morgue was in the hospital. And yeah, we just started chatting. They were looking for somebody to pick up shifts. I said, "Sure, I'm not afraid of dead people."
I am.
Because at the time I was a Christian, and I was like, well, they're in heaven anyway.
Even
I don't
now, I'm
believe
just
ghosts.
like, ew, that's gross. I don't believe in ghosts either, or heaven. But ew, gross dead bodies, ew. Okay.
Our pathologist once we're elbows deep into somebody's arm cavity. and we've got blood, dry blood kind of up to our elbows, basically.
Yeah.
We're double gloved, gowned,
Well, I'm sure
safe.
super safe.
And she nicks the colon.
Oh.
She gets a tiny little drop of poo on her glove. And she starts freaking out about how gross it is. And it's like, you're in somebody's abdominal cavity with dry blood up to your elbows.
And you
but
can't
that
handle
tiny
the
drop of poop on your glove.
It's unpooped poop. It's unpooped poop. It's poop that will never be pooped.
Okay. All right, so give her your phone, because I am not allowed to have mine in the podcasting room because I look at it again. It is actually right here. I'm going to look at it right now because I've got a million messages.
Okay. You get to post whatever you want.
Oh, boy.
On our podcasting page. And now we wait to see how she will ruin us.
I am not very imaginative.
No, that's all right.
I also planned on losing.
Well, your crochet story was real convincing.
You underestimated how terrible we are at this game.
Have we ever won?
Yeah, we won one.
I
Okay.
didn't actually post this.
Oh, okay. Okay, publish. Before I even read it, publish.
Oh, well, like all the anti-Semitism.
Let's see here. Shoot.
Bad.
Okay, so Maddy's podcast, A Minnesota Trans Atheist, is by far the best podcast I've ever listened to. She also has no creativity, and this was the best post she could think of, as she writes in the third person.
I love it.
I love it. It's fantastic.
Thank you,
it's staying there
Maddy.
forever. Thank you so much
Thank you
for
so much
coming
for
on
coming.
the
This
show.
Oh, this is super fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a job interview.
Oh,
Like,
no.
not an actual, like,
Yeah,
stressful.
Sure.
Like, what did you tell us how you avoided conflict in that situation?
No, we're not that serious or experienced.
No.
That's a good one, though, right? That tell us how you
Any
avoided
other good
conflict.
questions we should be asking?
Oh, no. We like to have fun. The whole point is to have
Yes.
fun and to celebrate love, which we just loved. I loved
Even
you,
though
love.
it's really gross.
I loved it. I don't care.
This one
That's
won
it.
me over, though.
Yeah, I really did like
I'm
it.
just...
She's just super
I'm
mild
disgusted by how much I like it.
salsa. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Oh my God. Wow, I just feel like I need to just drink all this vodka. Like this.
That was a ride.
That was so great.
If you enjoyed this episode of I Hate Your Love, please rate and review us on iTunes. That really helps us spread the hate.
Love.
Love. Also, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss a new episode.
And nowadays, if you're not posting on social media, it didn't really happen. So check us out for more content on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Hate Your Love Pod.
If you love the show and you want to support us and get more exclusive bonus content, consider backing our show on Patreon. We would really super appreciate it, like a lot, like a whole lot.
If you'd like to have the opportunity to have the distinct pleasure of sharing your love story with us and having us rip it apart like a piping hot pizza, email us at hateyourlovepod@gmail.com or click the pinned link on our Twitter.
And most importantly, remember, hate might be in our name, but it's not our brand. Please be a nice freaking human or consider moving to the sun.
Okay, thanks. Bye!